Support WrestleTalk.
We have new King and Queen of the Rings, and their names are Nia Jax and Gunther, your Queen and King of the Rings respectively, for 2024. I'm Lugo and DAD. I'm joined by your Jam That Champion, Sat Iniangi. I can't really call ourselves Dad Inc., because I'd already agreed to do that with SP3.
All right, we're Team DAD.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that. Or actually, maybe the three of us could be Dad Inc.
Daddy Daycare. I don't know. Something like that. Happy Sat E-Day, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a while since I said that. And I did tell you guys, I have a Roman Reigns-like schedule. So here I am, honoring my contract. One per month appearance.
You've done your second pay-per-view review of the year.
Listen, you know what? Ollie made me laugh. He goes, you need to defend your title. I'm like, I don't book myself. That's like, he's acting like them internet people. They're like, yeah, Roman never turns up. Roman will turn up if his boss tells him to. Do you know what I'm saying? I'll turn up more if my boss tells me to. Yeah. Until then, I am still your champion. My title's not on the line yet. All of my predictions came true.
You did get a complete clean sweep on this. I said queen sweep there. King and queen of the sweep.
It was a queen sweep, guys. They call me the scholar for a reason. You know, I study this crap, man.
Because I got one wrong, I think, on this whole show. And that was the Queen of the Ring final.
Interesting.
No, it wasn't. I got that one right. It was the Liv Becky match I got wrong.
Oh, I was about to say, yeah. You know what? You guys nearly convinced me. You guys will give me like a compelling argument, like, oh, Becky's gonna win. But I was like, that doesn't. I was like, because Liv's already been losing. If she lost this match against Becky, I felt like there's no way the revenge tour would have been dead on arrival if you think about it. But yeah. Welcome to the show, guys. We've got great things to talk about here.
WrestleTalk Podcast. Press the subscribe button. Give us a little thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you're watching this on demand. If you're watching this live, then join our wonderful live community and let us know your thoughts about King and Queen of the Ring. If you want your thoughts read out on the air, WrestleTalk.com/support. We'll read out all of them before the end of the show. Also want to give a huge thank you to everyone who watched our live reactions for King and Queen of the Ring. We raised over $1,100 for the campaign and the charity Shelter. So thank you so much for your wonderful and generous donations. $1,100 was donated through that stream. So thank you. We really do appreciate it. So thank you so much. Go and check out.
We're taking none of it. I don't get cut money.
No, we're paying you out of a different pocket.
Yes. You guys are. Yeah, it's going to charity. It's good for a good cause. So yeah, WrestleTalk, great people, man.
Thank you so much. So get your thoughts right out on the air. WrestleTalk.com/support. But we're going to go through our two tournament final matches.
Why not? We
were trying to decide whether to talk about this or the Liv thing, but we thought, it's the name of the pay-per-view. We can talk about like directions that they may be going down.
Bingo.
We know we're heading towards SummerSlam.
Yes, sir.
Just before the show. I think it was on the Friday or maybe the Thursday. Triple H announced that the winners of this tournament will get title shots at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. And when Nia Jax won, we were sort of in the office being like, Nia Bayley that makes the most sense as a SummerSlam title match.
Also, it's also a callback to the fact that when Nia debuted on SmackDown, she ruined the triple threat match that was between Bayley, Naomi, and Tiffany Stratton. So she already did attack the world champion. So this is kind of like the receipt moment. And also, it makes sense for Nia to win because, like I was saying in the office, trying to state my argument or state my point. Since Nia Jax has come back to WWE, she's been a completely different worker, completely different performer, and she's been showing out in key moments that she's needed to show out. And it's kind of like a reward of all of her hard work. She's got into better shape. She's working much better. There's some areas that still, a little bit rough around the edges, but she's a giant. It's what they do. It's part of their mantra. Work rough around the edges, but look good while doing it. She's looking good. Before, used to look, now it's looking, We're going to talk about a spot that she did. I was like, wow.
I mean, it was my spot of the night.
Yes, it was mine as well.
So when Dan Layton and I did the prediction show for this, I could see the argument for both Nia and Bianca winning the tournament. I was like, you've got Bianca, you've got the absolute star. Like you bring her star presence to the show. That's quite an important thing for the Saudi Arabia shows. They got her on the show anyway. She was on the pre-show in the end. And I thought, well, that to me makes complete sense.
Yes.
But putting Lyra up against the monster heel in Nia Jax also makes a complete ton of sense in terms of that, she's gone through this tournament, tough challenges to get to this final. Let's go through this. That's the wrong one. So she beat Dakota Kai, then beat Zoe Stark, and then beat Io Sky. And those last two matches in particular were awesome, absolutely banging matches. And so then you put her up against, this rising star against the dominant monster heel in Nia Jax. And it led to what was a great match. This match was really, really good. And it was quite simple in the fact that it was just Nia dominating Lyra, her bumping around for her. When she gets her flow of offs, and she had the moment where she did the basement drop kick through the second and bottom ropes. Yeah. And Nia just catches her by the feet, and Lyra's like, uh-oh. And I really, really enjoyed this.
It may sound like a weird comparison, but she's giving me Bryan Danielson vibes.
Lyra,
yeah. No, it's Nia. Nia, oh my gosh. She is reminiscent of Bryan Danielson.
I've often thought Nia Jax is a female Bryan Danielson.
No, Lyra, because she sells well. She's got great offense. I feel like she's one of the best get on the main roster. It's weird because even when she beat Becky, it's like she's underrated in a weird way, even though she's got some accomplishments already. But I think it's because of her demeanor. She's very like girl next door, very happy. I don't want to say happy-go-lucky, but she's very much is like, she seems like a level-headed person, hence why I make jokes about her character. Her whole look goes against her demeanor, if that makes sense. You'd think she'd be a bit kooky, not like Alba Fire and Isla Dawn level kooky. Just like her presentation does not lead her to be like, I'm just a normal girl from Ireland that's like wearing bird wings.
Yeah, we were sort of joking about this before we went on air. Just like, what is her character? Me and Dan joked about this on last week's Raw podcast. Her character is, I'm friends with Becky Lynch. Like, that is her character. It's like Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch had 3 segments last week on Raw where she approached Lyra to be like, you're really good. Like, you're great. And, her catchphrase, I guess, is, thank you, Becky. I appreciate your kind words.
Come on, Luke.
So like, what? But the point we're making is, I'm making jokes here, but the point I'm making is Lyra needs a character. She needs something for people to really grasp onto. Is like, that's why we're cheering for Lyra, outside of she is just the underdog babyface, which can, it works for Sami Zayn, but Sami Zayn isn't just an underdog babyface. Sami Zayn has more dimensions to his character than that. But
not to go around the houses, Viking Raiders kind of suffered that in the beginning as well. Before they embraced the full Valhalla lore, you could argue just guys in Viking cosplay, because they didn't really hearken to anything. They got the war paint. We're just happy-go-lucky Ivar playing basketballs, nothing. And then as soon as they embraced the lore, funny enough, there was a backlash. I was like, this is great, because I've been watching The Last Kingdom, the Vikings around, Game of Thrones. So for me, it's like, I don't want you just to dressing up the part. Jericho does not mean it's a character change. You need to embrace.
I'm fully supportive of the Jericho character change. Like, it's working for me, brother.
No. What I'm trying to say is he thinks changing the costume is a character. Is a when people say, "Oh, he's a new version," it's
he's
like,
reinvented himself.
Yeah. I hate that word because it's the same Jericho. He's just older, and it's what's different between. Sorry, I know even that's why W stuff, but you started it, guys. What's the difference between List Jericho and Learning Tree Jericho? That's like
he's got a new hat.
No, you'd argue, of course he'll grow into that, right? He's reading the list, he's not a learning tree. Anyway, paper, tree. Wrong point. What I'm trying to say is Lyra needs to, because Michael Cole told me what her character was, and I was like, oh, I need to see a vignette. Not like a Andrade style vignette where you take off from wrestling. No, she needs to wrestle in the show, but I also want to know her character, her motivations, what's inspiring her. Because what Michael Cole said sounded cool, but we haven't seen a vignette. I think we need a vignette and then a little bit more of that. Nothing too spooky because people don't like spooky stuff. I like spooky stuff. But Nia Jax, let's talk about it.
Nia is such a good choice for this because she is. This second run for Nia has been an eye-opener for a lot of people. I'll include myself within that because, I was part of that train that was like, it's kind of fun to make fun of the Nia botches. It's, and then it's kind of fun to hate on the Nia injuries and stuff like that. And like, she's a bad worker and this and that. I think WrestleTalk as a whole has been very much the Nia apologist channel because we're always like, look, accidents happen in the ring. Like, people get hurt all the time. These things do happen. It's just when it happens to the, one person 5 times over, then you start to, that becomes a pattern.
Yeah.
But we were always very supportive of Nia as the character and Nia as the presence and Nia as the promo. And I think there's a lot to Nia. But this second run has been all of that great stuff, but without any of the baggage that comes with, oh, she hurt Kairi Sane that one time. Oh, she hurt X that one time. Oh, she hurt Y that one time. And it's been really, really good. And I think she's been awesome since she's come back. And she's defined as a character So now she can go into this Bayley match. And there's been a long conversation we've been having in the WrestleTalk offices about Triple H looking to reset the NXT status quo.
Mm-hmm.
And we're now getting that with Bayley being back to being a babyface, and she's not quite the hugger, but you can see elements of that Bayley in the presentation of Bayley we on the screen. Mm-hmm. And now you're setting up Nia to be the uber heel for her to go against. You're like, oh, well, this is NXT 2015. And I was there live for that because it was in London. So I went to that show. Mm-hmm. And that is what we're going to be building towards to SummerSlam. And I loved that London match because I was such an uber Bayley fan. And I was genuinely worried that Nia Jax was going to win the belt because I did not want to see my girl Bayley lose the belt. And I was so emotionally invested in that match. I think it's a perfect choice. I think it's a great SummerSlam match.
The thing with Nia Jax, funny enough, what you said is, I think I was more in love with her potential because I was a huge Awesome Kong fan. So I wanted someone like that.
Yeah,
so when I saw Nia Jax, I'm like, oh, she was a bit rough around the edges, a few years in developmental. Nope. A certain former boss wanted her up straight away, so she was learning on the job. This goes to show you that it may take you up to, I don't know, 6 or 7 years of your run to get good. This reminds me when Cena and his United States title run is like when he finally got it, what it is to be a worker. And I think it's Nia Jax training with Natalya, training with TJ Wilson, that's got her to where she is right now, and she's now nailing it in the ring. And I also feel like as well, someone must have taught her, learn from these big guys. You can tell when she was wrestling, someone went maybe learn from the Big Show, no offense to the Big Show, or learn from Andre the Giant, that whole lumbering, plundering. But now she's taking bumps. And that's why I use Vader as an example, because I'm like, she's wrestling more like a super heavyweight instead of like a giant. Mm-hmm. So like, wrestle like a giant. No, wrestle like a super heavyweight. Yeah. That works for you. And like, she's now doing more like sentons. And again, bumping's a big thing to say, because it used to be like, it was like a special occasion when she would bump. Or her bump will be her sitting down flat on her buttocks. Now she's taking full back bumps because, she lost the weight, increased her speed, is much more the intensity of her wrestling as well. It used to be sloppy. It's less sloppy. It's more intense in the ring. And that's why we're loving it. And I used to make a joke that, Nia's strong styling women in the ring. And, it's a joke to say that, we see what we like differently. But yeah, she's come a long way. She's living up to the potential that I've always wanted for her. It's great because sometimes you fall in love with potential, and it's good. And it's also a reward for consistently being good in the ring. She had one shoddy, performance when she faced Jade, but besides that, she's been consistently well. She's kind of like the giant presence that you need. It's kind of what I wanted for Piper Niven. I hope Piper Niven still gets that kind of run to be that giant heel. And Raquel, Rodriguez, she's another one, another female host that I want to see established, because you don't get that often in WWE. Variety is very, very important. So when they brought Nia Jax back, I was like, yeah, it makes sense. You need someone that even Rhea, you could potentially think, could she beat this monster or overcome it? You need that kind of presence in the women's division if you want it to be equal to men.
The other great thing about the Nia choice is they have now set up that it's going to be Piper Niven going for the belt at Clash at the Castle. So you're setting Bayley up now to going up against two monster heels back to back.
Which is good.
So you can now tell the story of, like, if she just about ekes out a win over Piper Niven at Clash, how's she going to fare against Nia Jax going into SummerSlam? That's a good little story to tell.
Also, congrats to Piper. She deserves this
moment.
She should. So I'm happy to hear that. Yeah. And also Bayley. Here's someone that, I don't know, even though Triple H trying to reset things, she almost feels like an afterthought sometimes because she's not really put on posters and built the same level.
Disrespect is real.
It is real. So that's what I'm hoping that Triple H is kind of doing a slow burn thing, saying, okay, guys, I get your complaints, but watch this space, and we are watching this space. So I'm hoping that from Clash, from Money in the Bank, that Bayley's getting consistent opportunities. Because at the moment, usually we kind of know who's going to beat someone. Tiffany Stratton is still on her way up. If she wins Money in the Bank, you could potentially see it being Tiffany and Bayley, maybe. I don't know. I'm going a little bit ahead. But at the moment, Queen Nia, go full all out. Give her like men that's feeding her grapes. I said it. Massaging her feet, because people be like, it's a heel move to do. And then some, feet people out there, they're going to enjoy it. But just go all out in terms of making her the queen of SmackDown or the queen of WWE. Because it reminds me of Mabel, when King Mabel, I like going back to my new generation lore. But
you love the new gen.
I even said that Lyra versus Nia is Savio Vega versus Mabel, but minus the ECW chance. But yeah. And also maybe, Nia needs a valet, because I feel like characters like that, you need someone that you boss around to show how, regal you are.
And this finish,
Yes,
this was like, it was my favorite finish of the night.
mine too.
And I mean, I up and down the card, like, you know, good finishes throughout this, because we can get to the Sammy triple threat in a bit. But Lyra, because the whole story of this match is that Lyra just keeps throwing things at Nia, and then Nia shuts her down. She keeps throwing things at Nia, and then Nia shuts her down. And they built this up to a crescendo where you're like, and now's the time when Lyra gets her flurry. And Nia is up on the middle rope, and Lyra gets her, and she's got her in the powerbomb position, and you're like, this is it. She's going to do the huge powerbomb spot. And Nia just, boom,
Swatted her.
sits down, spatchcocks a chicken, as Tegan described it on the live reactions, hits the Annihilator. Like, hits an Annihilator from out of nowhere. I jumped out of my seat. Corey Graves, you can watch in the replay, Corey Graves leaps out of his seat. It is the coolest way to end this match. And Lyra sold it brilliantly as they were like scraping her off the mat.
I hope she's okay, because you know when you see how someone protected during the finish, there was no protection.
No, she just sat
on her. So her. So I hope that she's okay.
Adam Bigelow on the Attitude Era podcast once joked about, you know, when Rikishi does the splash on the top of the cage onto Val Venus, he said, like, I was half expecting Val Venus's skeleton to like shoot out of his mouth. Like, that is what happened here with Lyra. Like, I
agree.
Sit there, woof, and it just goes out. It was spectacular. A great finish.
That's gonna be one of those highlight reel moments they're gonna replay, hopefully, because Nia deserves it. I feel like she's been consistent as a performer, and that is, you can see she was getting emotional as well. She had that moment with Triple H in the ring where, you know, she wasn't heel for a bit. She was a human being enjoying the moment. But this is like her thank you. Like, you know, you've done a great job. Here's your reward, and, you know, make Bayley look strong.
Yeah. I mean, I fully expect Bayley to win, just like she did in London.
Yeah.
But I think it's a great opponent for her at SummerSlam. And
also with King of the Ring, it's one of those gimmicks where you don't leave it behind. You can you know, use it until the next person becomes king or queen. So that's a good thing about that as well.
That's going to be the interesting thing. Well, and maybe we'll talk about that now with Gunther, who won the men's tournament. Your new King of the Ring.
Yeah.
Didn't put the crown on.
No.
Just sort of held it for a little bit. I don't think we're going to be seeing King Gunther on Raw with like the robe and the crown and everything like that. I think he will just be going back to Gunther.
What about Ludwig? I can see Ludwig embracing the whole.
Yeah, well, I just think Ludwig will he will introduce him as King of the Ring. Maybe he'll just hold the crown and just like kind of like how Edge had the trophy in 01. But Gunther beat Randy Orton in, I think, my favorite match of the night. I think this was my match of the night.
Oh, mine too. Because what made this matchup so interesting is you didn't know what direction they were going to go in terms of building the match and what the base of the match was. Because both guys are known for selling well, but it's like it could go either way.
Yep.
Because Randy Orton, as much as he is beloved as one of the best of all time, he's also known as one of the best guys phoning in a match if he doesn't feel like performing.
Oh, yeah. But this was like motivated Randy Orton. And like what the great thing about this as a final is it really could have gone either way. Gunther made complete sense because this felt like this whole tournament was designed for him to win. But Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam feels like that's the WWE Championship match. And like, I'll be honest, it probably still is going to be that match.
Yeah.
But as I said on the prediction show, Randy Orton doesn't need to win King of the Ring.
No.
I don't see the point in crowning him King of the Ring when he can just have the world title shot at SummerSlam anyway. This does something for Gunther. He had his 666-day title reign with the IC title. He's lost that belt. Now he's King of the Ring. You've like immediately belted him, in inverted commas, with something else. So that's now an accolade he can now carry into likely winning the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. And then he can defend that belt, probably against Ilya Dragunov, when you get to Bash at Berlin later that month.
I also feel like as well is like a course correction to what was probably the original plan for Triple H last year before CM Punk came back, because we all predicted that the story with Seth Rollins' back injury was designed for a Gunther powerbomb 1, 2, 3 to become world champion. And obviously with CM Punk coming back and originally planned to face Seth Rollins, that never came to fruition. So probably in Triple H's mind, like, okay, plan B, let's just go with King of the Ring and still do the plan that we initially had, because Clash, Bash at Berlin is still a thing, because we don't know. It could be for the title. I would have not been sad if it wasn't for the title against Ilya, wherever it is. But it makes the most sense, I guess. Each wrestler, like Drew, you get a moment in your country, and Gunther, you get a moment in your adopted country.
Yeah, you're the country that's next to your country.
Yeah.
In the same way that when Drew went for the title of the last Clash of the Castle, it was like, countryman adjacent.
I was like, please, just get either Rob Terry or Mason Ryan out of retirement, just so you can. It was cringe because you don't have a Welsh wrestler you can push in that level. But now it makes sense because Drew is gonna be in Glasgow.
Yeah, Glasgow, as the Americans would say.
Glasgow. In terms of the match we were talking about, Randy and Gunther, it was a good match. For me, it was my favorite Randy match since he's been back, because it kind of played into his strengths of selling really well. Because you get a lot of times when Randy sells and a wrestler he's facing wants to move 10,000 miles an hour, so his selling kind of derails that match, if that makes sense. Like, the energy is not on the same level, but Gunther's very methodical, so it matches Randy Orton's pace. So it was like a perfect, dancing partner. And
a lot of Randy's downfall in this match was Randy's age and Randy's wear and tear over the last 20 odd years of working at a main event level. And that in the kayfabe world as well. I'm not saying they're like, oh, Randy's too old. No, the story they were telling in this match was it was wear and tear. It was his knee that was giving out. The Randy intensity was there. Randy wanted to keep doing the spots that he was doing. The key to this for me is he goes to do the power slam, the snap power slam. And as he turns around for it, he twists his back and he lands on his bad knee. And he can't. And all of a sudden, he's like, that's the moment. And Gunther starts targeting the back, starts targeting the knee. So that's just something that Randy has done for 20 odd years. And now he does it and it hurts him. And that's a brilliant little character twist in the Randy Orton narrative. And so I thought Randy's selling in this match was superb.
Impeccable.
I thought he was so great, selling that back, selling that knee, but not letting on that it was really, like, it was wincing pain of just like, this is real sore, but I'm not going to let him know how much this, like, it probably hurt more than he was letting on through his facial reactions.
Yeah.
I thought he was superb in this match.
He was, and also feel like it's a little bit of a vindication, because like I said, Randy Orton's a bit Marmite with the wrestling, community. Some people love him, some people hate him or loathe him, or some people are split in the middle. But this is one of those cases where you can say, Randy Orton is one of the best in terms of selling, pacing of the match. I think that's where it is. Because a lot of times you hear, great wrestler, you think, moves. It's all about pacing and how to tell a story. Because Bret Hart would say it's a lost art today in today's wrestling, where people want to move at a breakneck speed, where telling a story is part of why you like wrestling. It's like working on an arm, working on a leg, that being the story to tell. And that's what it was with this match. Gunther working on Randy's back, working on his knee, the submission hold, everything meant something. It just wasn't a throwaway. That's why Gunther's matches mean something, because everything he does, he's not wasting. It's not a wasted motion. Everything has meaning. Everything's deliberate. And this match is a great example of that.
Absolutely was. Like, the other moment for me, for Randy, this match to put him over some more, was he was doing the backdrop onto the table. The thing you used to do to the Singh brothers all the time.
Yeah, Singh brothers slam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Singh brothers move, right? Yeah. And he hits it and he hits it again. And each time he does it, it hurts him.
Yeah.
But he's Randy Orton. And this is what Randy Orton does. This is one of Randy Orton's moves. So he does it a third time. And really, if you're in Gunther's mindset, you're like, hit me again. Because this is probably hurting you more than it's hurting me. And then he was locking in those single leg Boston crabs and stuff, really stretching out that back. There was a great moment when Randy hit the RKO and he lands hard on his back. He's slow to crawl to the cover, and just he gets to him, Gunther immediately rolls out the ring, which sets up a very good RKO near fall later on. I suppose what people will look at when they come to this match, though, is that, we could talk about all the positives for it, and I could talk about the positives for hours on end, is the finish. So Randy has a roll-up. He gets the 1, he gets the 2, and then Gunther reverses that into a crucifix pin to get the 3, But Randy Orton's shoulder was far off the mat, like so far off the mat, to the point that in the replays for it, they have to show it at a camera angle where you cannot see his shoulders being
But you
pinned.
can still kind of see it.
But you can see, because that's how far up his shoulders were. And, you know, I looked at what the live chat was saying in the live reactions we were doing, and everyone was like, botch, 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 botch. Shoulder was up, restart the match, so the shoulder was up. I think it is very unfortunate this is what people will remember of this match, which I think is a real shame. But it is what happened. And like Ollie and I kind of almost had an admin meeting on air where we're talking about, like, you know, what the thumbnail is going to be for the edited review.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think it'll end up being the botched finish. I don't want it to be that, but that is what the show is, what happened on the show. I hate that, but it is what happens.
So, in that situation, do you think they should have called an audible to try to get... It's quite hard, right? Because the referee went, yeah, it's a free, right? They could have just...
Or just like, you know, they have this sometimes where the referee's just like, no, you need to... The shoulders aren't down. So the wrestlers then just maneuver back into a different position. Because at the moment, this kind of has vibes of Mania 35. Of like where, you know, Ronda's shoulders were.
Shoulder, yeah. But the Ronda one is more like the knee-jerk reaction she had of kicking out at 2 because she's not used to getting pinned. LOL. But this one was a case of like how high the shoulder was. But also, it reminded me of the situation we had with the tag match when we had the Kabuki Warriors versus Jade and Bianca, and the referee kind of the match.
Yeah.
So you kind of risk of pissing Randy Orton off of like, because unless they speak to each other, calling an audible, try it again. It's like, oh, what do we do? Should we go with a different finish, or should we try this again? Because I think the whole point of a crucifix is meant to catch you by surprise. If you go for a second time, what's the point of that?
Protects Randy. Like, otherwise you're going to have to just pick him up, hit your finish, and then pin him. And the whole point of this finish was, it was a surprise pin.
Yeah, and then you can't do it a second time because it's not a surprise.
Not a surprise anymore.
It's quite hard because you can say, oh, he's back, the momentum or whatever. But yeah, like you said, it's a shame that all everyone's going to talk about is the botch when the actual match itself was really good.
Yeah, and that's it, yeah. So, like, you know, I'm going to talk about the match because I thought the match was awesome. Like, the botch aside, I still think it was my favorite match of the night. I am not the biggest Randy Orton fan. I think that's quite well established here on this podcast that I am not a huge Randy Orton fan. I didn't really get into Randy Orton until 2019. You know,
wow, like, that's far.
And I got back into wrestling in 2005, and like I just saw this guy, I was like, this guy's boring. Like, he's a boring wrestler. He's a bland, boring dude, and he looks boring. He wrestles boring, and I didn't get it. 2019, all of a sudden, that kind of turned around. Like, something clicked with me, and I was like, it was the Jeff Hardy feud, and I was like, I'm into this, and I like the stuff he was doing during the pandemic stuff. Loved the Drew feud. And then, like, I thought the Riddle stuff was, like, really great. And then Tempest was saying this on the live reactions, like, I really missed Randy Orton while he was gone. And so when he came back, I was like, God. And Tempest, he said, everything felt right with the world. And I'm like, it did feel right with the world that he came back. So, like, I've really enjoyed these last, like, 4 or so years, you know, with the 18 months gap, obviously. But this, for me, is like, this is what people kept telling me Randy Orton was. Yeah. This is what people kept telling me in 2007 was why Randy Orton was one of the greatest of all time. And I didn't really see it then in matches with John Cena. But I do see it now in these matches with Gunther as this grizzled vet who is selling these injuries that have just been building up over time.
So basically, he grew into himself. This is the Randy he was meant to be. Yeah. He's one of those wrestlers where he gets better with age. For me, like, I've been following Randy's career since 2002. I was 12, he was 22. It's a 10-year age difference between us. I just watched him grow before my very eyes, and also knowing who his dad is. For me, it's like, because I'm such a huge rock fan, I saw parallels in his trajectory. Third generation guy, starts really young. He was called the blue chipper, kind of like the Rock was.
Top rope drop kick as the finish.
Yeah, and then he was an Intercontinental champion like the Rock. So for me, it's kind of like I was kind of putting like Rock like expectations on him to be a big star, and obviously, you know, immaturity, or he didn't really want it hard enough. He never became the guy that people thought he would be in the beginning. But he settled into a different kind of role. He was like a utility player eventually. He was a main eventer, better as a heel than his baby face.
Yep.
They could never nail it until recently. They started to nail it, making him more of a tweener. But yeah, he was always better as a heel. He's someone that I know how good he is in the ring, but I feel like as wrestling progressed and evolved, he became like the poster boy of what's wrong with wrestling, the rest hold aspect of it, right?
He was the poster boy for the boring WWE style of wrestling. You know,
Yeah.
when you had like TNA and Ring of Honor in the mid to late 2000s that were really changing the game of like what people were into with wrestling, and WWE were like, no, Luther Reigns, that's what people want to see. Mason Ryan, that's what people want to see as wrestlers. And then, you know, in the mid 2000s, when it was the mid 2010s, when it was PWG and like Progress and Rev Pro here in the UK. So, but Randy Orton was still like, no, I wrestled 2005 boring WWE matches while everyone else is having exciting matches around me.
You know what? It's true. I won't excuse the rest host, but I always thought that Randy Orton is a good wrestler and can have great matches. His match with Christian was one that was like
awesome.
I feel like that was one. I was like, you know what? I can't take the slander. Watch the match like that where Christian's another guy, like his old school mentality. I think because he's an old school, his dad's old school, so he's got that old school mentality of how to sell. Don't do too much. Maybe do less. It's like the Rick Rubin of wrestling.
Actually, do less. I mean, actually, credit to, like, you know, on that point, ladder matches. He did like a Money in the Bank ladder match. He did the ladder match at Money in the Bank 2014 as well. And the whole gimmick of Randy Orton is like, well, he doesn't take ladder bumps. And you had WWE themselves had established a style of ladder match where you're supposed to take bumps, but Randy don't take those bumps. He didn't take those bumps. So everyone was like, well, why is he in this match then? Why'd you put Randy in this match where he doesn't do the ladder bumps that you've told us this is what ladder matches are for?
No, but again, he's a smart worker. That's why it wasn't to his early 40s he had a really derailing injury. But then again, it's more because the finishing move that he does took its toll on his body. But I just wanted to say that this match, I hope that in totality of Randy Orton's career, people see that he actually is really good. I often make a joke to piss off the work rate people, like he's Kazuchika Okada for WWE. I mean, they do similar things, like
they do a drop kick, I suppose.
They do a drop kick, and they both were blue chippers, they're both earmarked for the future. They both do similar move because Kazuchika Okada team of New Japan is okay. I ain't gonna go any further than that. Okada is a different style of wrestler. Yeah. Okada's more Bob Holly, okay?
Yeah. I said this when he was debuted in AEW, and because he's now in Western wrestling, as one of the first things that Taz said, I was like, man, it reminds me of Bob Holly because he hits the drop kick, and I'm like, only when he debuts for a Western company, so I was like, man, do you know who Okada reminds me of? Hardcore Holly.
But to be honest, come on. Elbow pad, blonde hair, Hardcore Holly.
Beautiful drop kick.
Hardcore Holly.
Because Hardcore Holly had a beautiful drop kick.
And he also says, how'd you like me now? That is how you, come on, that pose says, how'd you like me now? No? Come on, that is how you like me now.
So, Gunther, an amazing King of the Ring choice.
Yes.
I think he's going to win the title at SummerSlam, which is it was weird, is like, we're looking at this World Heavyweight Championship, if we're kind of progressing this along. Priest won it at Mania.
Yeah.
Might lose it to Drew at Clash.
Bingo.
And then Drew loses it to Gunther at SummerSlam.
Why not?
Like 3 month reigns, like, some of those shorter reigns in there after Seth had it for like, a year or so, like nearly a year, I guess, to that point. And there's going to be a Punk thing in there as well. Like Drew versus Punk for the title is definitely a direction that we're heading. So do you have Gunther win the belt at SummerSlam?
That's a tricky thing. As much as it's weird because they've built Gunther enough where him winning world title at SummerSlam will feel like a landmark victory, because I feel like SummerSlam needs that, because Cody's obviously going to retain his title against whoever he faces. SummerSlam is usually that show where you need a new champion in order to get people excited for autumn winter time.
Yeah,
that makes the most sense, right? So Gunther makes the most sense, but I can also see it as like this is his first opportunity and loses, because Drew. It's kind of weird because Drew's at that point where I think when he won the title at WrestleMania, you kind of scratch the itch a bit. Kind of like, well, he's done it in front of the crowd. You don't need him to be champion anymore, whatever. But at the same time, he's been such a compelling heel. You want to reward that with a little bit of a run. But again, it's actually hurting my head thinking too much.
Well, so the answer could be that maybe Priest doesn't win at Clash, and Drew gets screwed again at Clash, and you have Punk do the solo Sokoa spot. And that's what leads to Priest retaining.
If Drew sings another song when he loses...
He's a heel now, so he's not going to be doing that.
No, but I'm saying that I don't think the Scottish crowd will be too particularly proud, and I don't think Drew... I think after that, the name Clash at the Castle will be like haunting him in his nightmares. Like, no, keep that branding away from me. It's bad luck to my, my life, to my mental health. So no, I'm hoping that Drew wins. I've been pitching for Gallus to debut as Drew's heavy because Drew needs backup, hence why he keeps losing or getting screwed over. He has no one to watch his back. Gallus will have some sort of seasoning and flavor. People actually kind of care because Drew's interesting.
Well, maybe that's you do that post-Clash. The more I'm thinking about it now, the more I'm like, maybe I don't think Drew's going to win at Clash.
No, don't say that.
And it's going to be Priest versus Gunther at SummerSlam, and Gunther beats him, and then you do Gunther Ilya at Bash of Berlin.
It's hurting my head because I'm thinking that at some point people could argue or cry that you had Finn Balor and not faced Damian for the title when you had the chance.
You can do that's Money in the Bank coming around the corner.
Bingo.
Which means you have to have him retain at Clash. So you can do Priest and Balor at Money in the Bank.
I'm starting to think this is when Finn Balor's nefarious means will come. Because the whole Damian being ungrateful, people backing him in matches, it's going to happen where they try to help him, but this time it goes wrong. I think that's probably the payoff of the story. I don't want your help. I don't want your help. I don't want your help. Thank you for helping me. It actually works. But the one time it doesn't work, cost him the title. I think that's the story you have to tell, right? They get angry. You might belittle break them and he gets beaten up for it,
Well, let us know what you thought of this show in the comments down below and in our live chat as well. And if you want your thoughts read out on the air, WrestleTalk.com/support will read out all of your UltraChats before the end of the show. And Joe is a Paul Heyman guy. He said, as a massive Lyra fan, I am a bit disappointed, but overall, I thought this was a really good show. My only other concern is that I don't think they can sustain the Uncle Howdy hype until June. What do you think? So 17th of June is like the sort of reported date. That's like one of the QR codes things. Like the 17th and the 27th was like, and the 17th is the Raw after Clash.
Interesting.
So do you think that they can do another 3 weeks of these QR codes to keep people keep people into it?
I mean, the first one worked well, and the second one is not as hype as the first one because people know it's not Bray or whatever, but it's not like it's in your face. I think if it was like heavily advertised, I'm tired of this booking, blah blah. It's just QR codes every week. Yes, they can sustain it to the 17th of June. 110% yes.
I think they can because I think we were talking about this on the live reactions. What the Wyatt Six are going to have sort of helping them in getting this gimmick over, which Bray kind of didn't have when the gimmick did not get over at the Rumble last year, is that we now have the legacy of Bray Wyatt kind of carry. So people are going to be into this group because it's for the memory of Bray.
Amen.
And that's kind of like that's why I want to support this group, because it's supporting the memory of Bray. So I think that's going to really help this group. So you could like delay this for another 6 months, and I don't think it's going to hurt their debut whatsoever.
No.
Because when they debut and they've got the theme and the presentation and everything, you're going to think of Bray, and that's going to be awesome. And it's going to carry this group for a long while.
And also Uncle Howdy. I hope Uncle Howdy gets a good run out of it. Like I likened him to the Kane to Bray's Undertaker, like as an extension of the Bray Wyatt law. And also Bo Dallas, I hope he gets the run that eluded him the first time.
Chris here said, Gunther Randy was my match of the night. Can't wait to see Gunther in feud with more main event level guys. I'm still praying for Gunther versus Brock. I mean, I think that's a whole can of worms. I think, and it's we'll certainly see what happens there, because there was talk that he might have been involved at WrestleMania. I think that was going to be the Undertaker's spot. Was going to be Brock. But that's, as I said, that's a whole can of worms. Let's not get into that.
Apparently it was Austin.
It was Austin was the other one, yeah. But when they couldn't agree to money, I was like, actually, Brock would have made a whole mess of sense with it. But anyway, that doesn't matter. On the you made this point actually on the live reactions as well. Gunther has been facing mid-card guys while he was IC champion, and now he's in a match with Randy Orton, and that's going to be quite cool. He wasn't in matches with John Cena or like that level of guy.
It was actually Tempest, because I in my head started thinking KO is a bit there's certain guys that actually like Kofi, it's apples and bananas, whatever, oranges, whatever. But it's Gunther's first test going towards the main event spot.
Yeah. Ilan Wall has been a member for 8 months in a row, so great shot, but I thought the Cody Paul was formulaic. Also, math is greater than pipe bomb, because MJF did it even better by fixing the grammar. Jam that jam. Yeah, I mean, house show vibes, I would say, for the Logan Paul Cody match, but I don't mind that at all.
Wait, I've been to a house show. What do you mean house show vibes? Like they hit. It's not like it was rest hold after rest hold. They actually went out there and did a good match. Had a cool spot as well with Logan Paul doing the frog splash or crossbody through the table. So for me, I thought it was a decent match. Yeah, for me, it's formulaic, as in you know what Logan's going to do in the match. So there was checkpoints. It was like bingo. Okay, table spot, prime. Knuckle duster. So there's so many different things that that's associated with a Logan Paul match. Doesn't mean it wasn't entertaining. I enjoyed it. It was a nice filler match that it needed to be. It was against a wrestler that people actually enjoy disliking, because we're in this generation where a lot of wrestler has a fan base and no one wants their favorite to lose. People are fine with Logan Paul losing.
And winner loser here says Michael Cole confronting Paul was honestly one of my favorite parts of the match. Cole calling Paul out was great. I started to believe that Cole was going to hit him with the brass knucks that he had. It didn't happen, but it would have been a great pop for me. I think we're going to get a Logan Paul Corey Graves match.
Yeah,
hey, we'll talk about that when we get to the match.
Yes.
But last chat I wanted to read out here was from Geek of Arabia, who was there live for the show, and they were ultra-chatting throughout, donating to Shelter throughout our live reactions, giving us sort of like live feelings from the building there. We think we spotted them as well, because they said they were wearing a Looney Tunes t-shirt and they were by that guy who had like 20 signs. But they say here, reporting from post King and Queen of the Ring, the show was wild. Crowd was hot as hell. I'm exhausted. I look forward to seeing the fallout, but until then, support each other, support WrestleTalk, jam that jam. So let's talk about the rest of the show. We had a pre-show match for the Women's Tag Team Championships.
We sure did.
As the what did I call them? The Power Buff Girls.
The Power Buff Girls.
Of Bianca and Jade beat the way of Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. My stand-up for this was Indy Hartwell.
Yeah.
Like, she's fully heel now. I really enjoyed the heel work she was doing. Granted, she did the same spot twice where she twirled her braids to be like Bianca. But, I laughed the first time and I giggled the second time. So, yeah, Indy was actually my favorite part of this match.
She was. She's someone that I've been a fan of since NXT. She's not, one of the best wrestlers on there, but she's great. She's charismatic. She's great in storylines. She's decent in the ring. I just wish, again, like I said during the live reaction, she wrestles like a hoss. I think that's what's missing from her fence, because she at one point she was even doing a big boot as well, which she doesn't do as much anymore, because Jade is statuesque, but her and Indy are the same height, which wasn't fully established in the match, because again I likened her to like Scott Hall. You're 6'7", but you're wrestling like a technical wrestler instead of like a 6'5" Mike Awesome. But yeah, Indy did well in that match, and I just hope the way get an opportunity down the line to actually have a run to be tag team champions, because Candice LeRae is insanely talented, but there's like a ceiling to her as a singles, unfortunately. But I hope that it's made up for it during tag team matches.
I think there's a ceiling for anyone in the tag division though. Like I don't think it really puts you up anywhere beyond where you're at.
You know what? I don't see it. It's kind of not in a bad way. It's better than doing nothing.
It's better than doing nothing, I suppose.
Unless they introduce a mid-card title, I feel like that's the ceiling for both women. Unless Indy adds more intensity to her offense, I see her, either doing heel comedy stuff. But again, she's a good worker. I'm a fan of hers. Candice LeRae, loved her stuff in PWG. We're only getting a small fraction of what she can actually do, which is kind of sad in a way as well. But I hope better things come for those women. It was a good opportunity, good spot.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about on the live reactions, but like the Elite always used to say like Candice was their pick to put in Bullet Club because she's awesome.
She is.
But she's not really been given that chance within WWE. And and honestly, I don't think it's going to come. Was it you that said this? That said that she's this generation's Natalia.
She is.
She'll be there for 20 years and will just be like at a certain level the entire time.
Yeah, and I think she's one of those people. I think she's humble enough where she'll be like, yeah, you know what, as long as I'm getting a match, as long as I'm getting paid,
I'm helping other people.
Yeah, even though maybe not. Maybe she's like, F that, because Natalia at least has been champion for like once or twice in her career, so at least give Candice that moment. But it's quite hard because you look at the roster of talents they have right now. It's like where would you slot her in unless you do that late NXT run again and she wins the title there. But I don't know at the moment with the current crop of talents, unless something big happens, related to Johnny Gargano, DIY, adjacent, it's hard to see her be the champion, one of the champions of the company, unfortunately.
Well, speaking of champions, Liv Morgan defeated Becky Lynch for the Women's World Championship. Sean Ross Sapp, during the show, did put out a tweet being like, I had a lot of people on Twitter.com telling me that Becky Lynch, who has not re-signed her contract, was going to win this match. Clearly knowing, as Sean did, that Liv was walking out as the champion of this match. I really thought Becky was going to retain, though. I wasn't one of those people who told Sean this. I wasn't there texting being like, you're a moron. I hate Fightful, even though I follow them. I wasn't that guy. But I didn't think it was time for Liv to win the belt. I don't think they'd done enough for this Liv Morgan character to push her to this level. With that said, this finish was really, really, really good. And the match itself was good. Like, it wasn't the level of like Becky and Rhea at Mania, or even like Bayley Io at Mania. But it was damn good though. Like, it was a good match, but it was a great finish.
It was. So when I got into the office, the propaganda of telling me that Becky's going to win nearly swayed me. At one point, maybe you're right. Maybe she needs another month. But a part of me felt like, what's the point of calling it the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour if you lose at the first hurdle? Because she already lost when they did the whole number one contendership thing for WrestleMania. So it's like, she can't lose again.
And then she lost the Battle Royal. So I thought this match was too early to do.
No, for me, it wasn't, because I felt like had Rhea not gotten injured, because you have to remember, at the time, Rhea Ripley was champion for a year plus.
Yeah.
So in their minds, it's like, let's give her another accolade of keeping the title to Mania, going to Mania, back to back or door to door, or coast to coast. And then after that, post Mania, then decide for her to lose the title to Liv Morgan, because I feel like she was going to lose to Liv because they had a lot more steam in their storyline, which wasn't explored yet, which was touted on Twitter like, this is the better feud, this is the story that has to be finished, yada yada yada. So when Rhea got injured, I was like, oh, Becky's there just to drive the story along, to get where things needs to go point A to point B. So you can probably argue that maybe either Backlash or King of Queen of the Ring, Rhea was going to lose to Liv Morgan there.
Yeah, I think so.
But because it didn't happen, they had to pivot. And the pivot is getting heel. And Liv Morgan, as a heel champion, is something different, because she's got tendencies that, could rub people up the wrong way or whatever it is. And it's going to work to her credit as a heel. But the finish you're talking about is Dominic Mysterio.
Dominic Mysterio was involved in the finish of this match. So Becky had the disarmer on. Dominic appeared at ringside and kind of caused a bit of a distraction, because he was there at ringside. He then slides in a chair. So later on, both women are down. Dom slides in a chair, but he does not slide it to Liv. He slides it to Becky. And he Becky's was like, what are you doing? And he's like, yeah, there, like the chair. And then he goes around and he distracts the referee. Becky, sort of a bit nonplussed about this, doesn't see that Liv Morgan is running at her and hits a DDT onto the chair. She then hits the Oblivion, gets rid of the chair, and pins her 1, 2, 3. And Dominic Mysterio is selling this as, oops, that, which is quite funny as well, because both of them were dressed as Britney Spears. So it was like, oops, I did it again.
LOL.
LOL. And he was saying it's like, that was not my plan. My plan was for Becky to retain. Yeah. But we've been seeing the Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio stuff all in the background of those shots on Monday Night Raw, her with the handkerchief and things like that, them coming out the same room, coming out the same car. Later on in this show as well, Becky announced that she's got a rematch clause as world champion, so she is enacting that and will be competing for that belt on Raw this week. So I thought it was a really good finish. I thought Dominic was a very good presence for this, and I think it adds a lot of, because there's two ways to look at this, which is Dom is in on the act. Him and Liv planned this.
Of course. And
he is just playing up to the, oops, I did it again. That was not my plan. Or it's a case of Dom is trying to fight the urges of this wicked temptress because he is loyal to Mammy and wants to see Mammy come back. And so he doesn't want to see Liv take away things from the woman who's dominating him and pegging him on a nightly basis and giving him all the sorts of pleasures that he really, really wants. Like she's some sort of pinhead giving him the sexual fantasies that he truly desires.
I love that film.
Me too. She has got such wonderful sights to show him, and they're all up his bum. And I think there are two very interesting ways you can look at this.
You can't casually say that. I love how he's pretending. Yeah. Like, I often try to say, can we even swear on this show? And you talk about pegging, bum, pleasures, BDSM adjacent things.
Clearly Tegan's rubbing off on me. But
did you drink? I think you had some drinks as well. It was making sense. You know what? I dig it. I am all about deviant behavior. Yeah. Let's do this.
Yeah, I think this is a really good little angle to do in this. And as I said, like, I think both of those arguments could be made, and I don't know which one it is, and I'm excited to see which one it is. But you're very much in the camp of he's playing this up and him and Liv are in cahoots.
They're in cahoots for the simple reason that they were hoping that Becky Lynch is too babyface to actually use the chair, because number one, he got punched by her not too long ago, so he knows how she feels about him. So it's kind of like any help from a heel that you don't like will confuse you. They're hoping the confusion of the quote unquote help will be enough and the distraction in order to get the victory. That's what I assume was the plan, because I do think, because Raw is the next day, I feel like they're going to solidify this new alliance, or it's going to probably cause further confusion. If they can do that, I'll tip my hat off if they're not going straight to the finale, like, yeah, we're together or whatever, because it's still that thing of when Damien went, you things with you and Rio okay? We're just too random, because it's kind of like she just left. What issues? We haven't seen it anyway. But yeah, allegedly there's cracks we haven't seen, and yeah, we're hoping to see the fruition. And also, Finn Balor came out of the same car as with what's her face, Liv Morgan as well.
Maybe he didn't notice her. Maybe he didn't notice that she was in the car.
Yeah, sure. Because we talked about it. The OG members of Judgment Day, their days are numbered. First it was Edge, now it's potentially Rhea and Damian Priest.
I'm very curious to see where this one goes, and I'm excited to see where it goes as well. I think on Raw, I imagine Liv is going to retain. I think Becky, then, she hasn't re-signed her contract by all reports, which means it's up at the end of like next week or the week after that. So she's done with the company. I don't think she's going to AEW or anything like that, but I think she'll take quite a bit of time off, and well done to her as well. She has very much earned that. I don't think we're going to see the Liv and Dom thing resolved either. I think we're going to keep teasing that until Rhea comes back. It depends on when Rhea comes back, I guess.
You know what? I think if you want to have the maximum impact of the reveal of Dominic and Liv, Rhea has to be there for it. She has to see it. She has to be like, what's going on between you two? Or I don't know, because the execution of it is a bit, because at the same, if they do it like this is the union, it builds more anticipation for Rhea's return. Rhea's going to kick their ass when she comes out. Oh my gosh, how can they do that?
As the new heel actor.
Yeah, exactly. You want her to have the babyface reaction, which she's been getting before her injury. So it's kind of like, say if when she comes back, so she can be heartbroken, but you don't want her to be heartbroken. You want her to be mammy. You want to be dominant.
She's going to come out and beat both of their asses. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
For the Intercontinental Championship, we had a triple threat with Sami Zayn, Chad Gable, and Bronson Reed. Going into this match, we were all making the jokes that the only reason Bronson Reed was there was to take the pin. And I talked myself out of it, being like, no, the story's between Chad and Sami. I think that Sami's going to pin Chad. Nope, my instincts were correct. Bronson Reed was there to take the pin. But this was all about the finish. A very, very good match that this was. Only went 13 minutes, but they got a lot in those 13 minutes.
Yeah, Triple H, 13 minutes is fine.
And it came down to that. Tell him all of his WrestleMania matches. You could have done those in a third of the time there, dude. But it came down to the finish of the match, which was Chad got Otis to hit Bronson Reed. Then he asked him to hit Sami Zayn. And he couldn't do it. And he was there, hit him. And Otis couldn't do it. So Chad gets out of the ring and he holds Sami by the arms. And we're all like, well, we know where this is going.
Right.
Sammy's going to duck and Otis going to hit him. And in the end, Chad just drops Sami. We're like,
yeah,
that's not where we're going here. And Chad berates Otis. You're a loser. You should just do what I tell you. Slaps him across the face. Now do it. Then he goes and picks Sami Zayn up. Otis fires up. He charges. Sami Zayn ducks. Otis completely clocks Chad Gable, wipes him out on the outside. He's distracted. Sami rolls back into the ring, hits the Haluva kick on Bronson Reed and gets the win. I think it was another good finish. I really like this finish.
Yeah, it was a good match. One of the highlights was indeed the triple German suplex we got.
Yeah,
in the match.
yeah.
Chad Gable's a beast. I mean, if you follow him on Instagram, it's not shocking. That guy is a beast, especially in his workouts. It made me laugh that Chad Gable berates Otis, yet he trusts him to do a move if he calls him incompetent. So that doesn't even make sense. But I like how it's a continuation of the story. We're getting closer and closer to the new Alpha Academy because they purposely left the Creed brothers and Ivan now, treading water until, the big moment or the big reveal that he's upgraded in terms of students. But this match was good. And also, if had Chad lost, it kind of defeats the purpose of it. It's kind of like you're a loser, dude. It kind of like there's no point in investing in someone that's a loser. With him, he's been justifying reasons why he lost or reasons he hasn't had opportunities. So for him to lose in this match, it would have added more to, he would have lost the luster or lost the reasoning. Bronson Reed, I often hate when big guys eat the pin a lot. It's almost like an AEW thing where, come on, like they should be dominant. Dijak, you still have to Dijak. You're 6'7" in NXT, you're losing big matches anyway. I hope that Bronson Reed gets a revamp. Maybe as a babyface, because his greatest success was as a babyface in NXT. Him as a heel monster on the main roster doesn't hit as much because there's other guys that Triple H wanted to push. So as a result, he's been eating pins. I hope they can give him like a Hall of Pain gimmick or something. Just do something to hold on to. I'm using Mark Henry as an example because he's a guy that they gave stop-start pushes over a decade and they should have figured out.
You're in a tag team with MVP now.
Bingo. That was, exactly, stuff like that. So Bronson Reed, good performance there, but the real story is between Chad and Sammy, and I hope it seems like Raw is potentially, because I think the apology or something, I don't know, Raw's potentially when things are come to a head with Otis and Chad Gable.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what the next chapter of that is on Raw this coming Monday. And our main event was for the WWE Championship as Cody Rhodes defeated Logan Paul in a very fun match. I think people are using house show vibes. I used it earlier because it was like, there was plenty of smoke and mirrors and things like that. But it's less of a house show. This was a Saudi match. And as I think that Logan Paul is a perfect Saudi Arabia match guy. Like, I think he's perfect for this sort of scenario. When they announced that it was Cody versus Logan, I was like, well, that's a perfect match for a Saudi show.
Bingo.
And I think he was great in this match. And Cody's like a perfect babyface and stuff. The gimmick of the match was that Logan Paul promised he would not use the brass knucks, to the point that he gave the brass knucks to Michael Cole at the pre-show press conference the day before. So he's not using these brass knucks. Then during the match, he goes over to his goon squad at ringside, who've got the Prime bottles and whatnot. There was no Prime sponsorship on the show because the show's sponsored by Saudi Arabia. And the guy there gives him a new set of brass knucks.
Tut.
And Cody Rhodes dives at him. Logan Paul decks him in the stomach. The Anthony Ogogo gut punch gets rid of, puts the brass knucks down his tights and stuff. So it came into play throughout it. And then Cody was able to sell the midsection. And then we get this awesome spot where Michael Cole is mouthing off. So Logan Paul starts tearing apart the announce desk because wants to put Cody through it. And Michael Cole is yelling at him. Proper like Jim Ross indignation at their heel.
Triple
for
H
cheating.
kind of thing, yeah.
Absolutely. And he was really, really mad at Logan Paul because he's gone back on his word. So Logan Paul just like, what'd you say? Sorry, what was that? What do you want to say about me? And he starts getting in Michael Cole's face. Tries to go round the table. Corey Graves has to be trying to calm the situation down. I mentioned earlier, it feels I was like, wow, a Michael Cole, Logan Paul match, LOL. But a Logan Paul, Corey Graves match, that's got some appeal to it. Like, I kind of dig that idea.
I think because Logan Paul, okay, it's not going to happen at SummerSlam because that's going to be LA Knight. Yeah. He's got stops, Clash at the Castle, Money in the Bank.
Yep.
Pick either of those shows. He needs an opponent for his United States title reign because at the moment I've been saying that on paper it sounded great to have Logan Paul as your United States champion because he's got the character stuff down. He's great on promo, very believable. Yep. He can elicit heel heat. He's a perfect guy to have the title. He's had great performances. He's the best celebrity wrestler they've ever had, to the point where you can't call him celebrity anymore because he's here. He's present.
He's just the guy on the roster.
He's the guy on the roster. So for me, it made sense for him to face Cody. And also, Corey Graves has been cleared for a few years now. He has no desires to get back in the ring full time. He's moved on. But to have a last hurrah, because for someone like him, where your career got cut short,
Very
you never
short.
really got to say goodbye. It's my last match. I can see him potentially wanting to have a match, or because it's the intrigue, kind of like when they kind of subtly, alluded to Adam Pearce and Roman Reigns. You're like, oh, Adam Pearce hasn't wrestled in a while. You know what he can do. You want to see what's going to happen in the WWE ring now. That's the same kind of, anticipation and excitement I have for potentially Logan Paul and Corey Graves. Might not happen, but, you never know. It's interesting. It's different.
I've got more interest in that than I had, say, Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler.
Yeah, but that's because Corey Graves used to be a wrestler.
That's what I mean. Well, Jerry Lawler was as well, but
No, I mean, it's the whole. It takes two to tango.
Both of them are wrestlers.
It takes two to tango. Yeah.
I think it'd be quite a cool thing. Anyway, Cody Rhodes did the Cody Cutter, but the table did not break. They did break the second table when Logan Paul did the big splash to the outside. But in the end, Cody Rhodes fired up. He Cody'd up, and he hit 3 crossroads for the win.
Bingo.
Good match.
It was a good match. That's you can't. It wasn't offensive. It literally did what it needed to do. It takes all the boxes. Kind of like, okay, by doing King of the Ring, we've established King and Queen. Of the Ring. You established 2 challenges for SummerSlam. Cool. We know where we're going for SummerSlam, and now you've put other pieces in place. You've given another good Logan Paul performance, and now hopefully he defends United States title, at Clash at the Castle or something, please. Overall I enjoyed it. And Liv Morgan, you now coronated a new main event heel in the women's division, and Nia Jax did say she should be WWE champion, and I don't mind that. Equality for all, male and female. It's not the men's world championship, it's just the world championship, so I'm like, sure. I
had a good time with this show. Like, it was another good, solid B show for WWE, in the same way the Backlash was a solid B show for WWE. I'm excited to see what they do for Clash. And then we've got Money in the Bank around the corner from that, and then it's we're on the way to, well, All In AEW's case, but then Bash at Berlin the week after that. So a lot of wrestling on the way. So thank you all so much for watching. Please do press the subscribe and get your thumbs up as well, and your comments down below. And ding, 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 this is your last call for UltraChats as well. So apparently, Triple H has addressed the controversy for the end of King of the Ring.
Interesting.
Let me have a quick check on that.
I knew they might play into storyline because Triple H knows that people will be tweeting at him ad nauseum. It's like, did you see the ending? Did you see the ending? That's not fair, man. Randy's shoulder was up. This is BS. Did he really win? So yeah, address it.
Paul Triple H, Triple H. I know it's been a long night for you, so I do appreciate your time. I want to address some controversy at the conclusion of the King of the Ring tournament final between Gunther and Randy Orton. Now, as we all know, Gunther defeated Orton.
Okay, yeah.
Live, I was out there. From my vantage point, it was very difficult to see. Was in the ring, handed the crown to Gunther. Very happy for him. Incredible night. What a performance they both put on. Coming back here and seeing it back, look, I saw exactly what you saw. I saw what everybody saw. I saw what everybody is talking about. Didn't really even seem controversial to me. It just seemed like Randy Orton's shoulder wasn't down. But I'm going to say this. Referee's decision is final. Gunther is your King of the Ring. That being said, especially after what I saw tonight, I certainly want to see that again. I think Randy Orton deserves to have another shot at that. And I think if I know anything about Gunther, he will want to have another shot at that, to take the controversy out, to take the asterisk off of the page where it says King of the Ring for him. I think he will want to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that he is better than Randy Orton. So I think.
Okay, we get the idea.
This is James Ellsworth all over again.
So I wasn't sure how much of that was being picked up by the mics, but hey, to me, it looked okay from my vantage point. I didn't see, but now I've seen the video, and I see what y'all see, but referee's decision is final. Gunther is King of the Ring. Hey, if they want to do it again, We'll do it again.
He puts that on. If you listen to how Triple H sounded in the 90s till now, like especially with Hunter Helmsley, his voice is kind of higher. You know, the I don't know. I need to get older myself and see if I'm gonna get.
Well, he's now the little half-rimmed like glasses Triple H now. He's always
Luke,
says Triple H. Book a Triple H now.
Look, I can speak a bit like that as well if I wanted to. You know, I've just watched a stream, so my voice is now kind of changed now. So this is now I'm going to speak throughout the rest of the show because, you know, it's not for show. That's actually a true voice. We can all sound like that. You know, it's real. Because he doesn't smoke a pack of cigarette a day. He's known for drinking alcohol.
Yeah. So anyway, yes, that's that. Apparently that's it. That decision is final, but maybe we'll do the match at a different point down the line.
No, it sounded like they might do it again on SmackDown because he said that, you know, I found out Gunther, you know, he wants to take out the asterisks, you know. They both
I think that is more just bluster and just, we can do that. We'll book that match at a different time.
You know, Clash of the Castle. And I never really booked it in for both guys. You know, they can do it again and, you know, Gunther can win and, you know, shut the heck up.
Yeah, exactly. Which is, it's the James Ellsworth thing.
Yeah.
Fine, we'll do it on SmackDown. All right, and like guess what? Carmella wins. All right. Are you happy now?
And then she cut a promo. She won it twice, and it's true in a way. Yeah.
Nitro here says, "Hey guys, look, it wasn't Dom coming out of the car with Liv. It was Finn." Which adds another layer which could play into the rematch on Monday with Becky knowing Becky and Finn's history.
Well, we already know that Carlitos will be the new Puerto Rican in the group, man. That's the funny thing. It's like, I'm going to oust this guy. I think the whole group is like, there's a quota they have to meet. It's like, we need some diversity here, man. Carlito, man. Yeah, he'd be great.
Lobby Warsaw here said, Liv is champ, but I don't believe Dom is working with her. Dom is going to try and prove his innocence, but messing up. Finn got out of the same car as Liv, and he's clearly moving away from Priest. It's going to be a huge twist when Balor is the one that turns. Demanjo, who's become a member, says, great show, but my God, they have to change that mouthful of a name. Call it WWE Coronation or something. Also sad for no Wyatts. But they never said that they were going to be there. There was never any tease that they were going to be it. It was weird. Like, I kept seeing in the live chat, no Wyatts, no Wyatts, no Wyatts. I was like, I didn't expect them to be on the show.
I kind of assumed if they were going to do title versus title, that the finish would be a schmoz with the new Wyatt 6 appearing to, you know, cause a DQ or something.
Black Ninja here says, why don't you guys ever petition things for Naomi? What happened to Big 3? She could win Money in the Bank and cash in on Nia Jax at SummerSlam. Tiffany can form a team with Jax. I think Tiff's winning Money in the Bank.
I mean, the pink briefcase, it sells itself, man.
Yep.
It's Tiffy time.
Moose here says, now that we have King and Queen of the Ring out of the way, who do you have pegged for the Money in the Bank briefcases? I know Luke is saying Tiffany, but what about the men's? Also, Liv finished the story. Actually, do you know what? I'm now pretty set on this. Drew loses at Clash. His whole promo after losing the WrestleMania was, I hate Money in the Bank. It's such a cheap way to win the belts. I've lost the championship twice because of that stupid gimmick, and I hate it. And when he cut that promo, I said on the Raw podcast, Drew should win Money in the Bank because that'll be ties in beautifully to his hypocritical character.
It does.
And if he doesn't win at Clash, which now I'm kind of thinking that he's not going to win at Clash, he wins the Money in the Bank briefcase and he cashes in on Damian Priest or whatever you want to do. But Drew's my men's winner.
LA Knight. So, because at the moment he's on SmackDown and there's no chance in hell at the moment. Even though Cody did say he wants to face LA Knight to do a match to find who's the true face of SmackDown, because he knows LA Knight's the other guy that the crowd loves. I think LA Knight can potentially win a Money in the Bank because he can cash in on Raw because he's got a bigger chance to win the title there. So he can cash in on Gunther maybe, I don't know, but I do think it's LA Knight. It's either LA Knight or Solo Sikoa because they've been pushing him. So someone needs, you know them ones. They usually like pushing up people like, you know, you've never won before.
Yeah,
he could potentially give you the title. Solo's on the list of people that can win it. There's also Grayson Waller. If you know exactly, if it's NXT Waller, you would not be. NXT Waller barely lost, guys. You didn't know what his back looked like on the mat past 2 because he never lost. Main roster, they're booking him like the Miz, unfortunately. But yeah,
I'd rather him than Austin Theory.
Oh, Austin Theory sucks. That will never change. I like his theme now, but that's the only thing positive I'm going to say about him. But yes, Solo Sikoa or LA Knight, yeah.
Christopher here says, WrestleTalk's awesome. Keep up the good news, and I hope this helps. It does, and that's a very generous chat from you right there, so thank you so much. And Ali Khan Yazaiki has become a member. Thank you very much. And Moose here says, for the Logan Paul match, I think he's going to come out on SmackDown and is going to get in Graves' face and threatens him. But then you hear on the mic, I think if you're going to bully the commentary team, I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you.
What, it's going to be Wade Barrett? That's a Baron Saxton round the house way to get back to things.
Yeah, you could do Wade Barrett versus Logan Paul.
I mean, you could.
I don't think it's as emotionally charged as Corey Graves returning to the ring as Wade Barrett returning to the ring.
I think the only way I love me some Wade Barrett, but you can tell this is a guy that's over it. Like, he doesn't care about getting back into the ring. The only way I can see it being a thing if he fights in the UK.
Right, thank you all so much for watching. That is, let me just quickly double check, all of the UltraChats read out. Yes, it is all of them. So thank you so much. We've also ended the poll and we have our results. Our thumbs up rating is 72%, with 25% saying thumbs in the middle, which I think was about what we had for Backlash as well. So I think that kind of stacks up for me.
That's been a Triple H model. Like, he's not here to offend. He's here to do his thing. Yeah. He's like the Rick Rubin of wrestling. Minimalism. Like, less is more for him.
You got your 5 matches. You got your 5-match card. It was done in 3 hours.
Okay, except for time, his kryptonite is timing of matches. Ooh, 40 minutes. Yeah, I've watched the Harley Race match against Ric Flair once, and I was like, I can do that. I can do that.
He absolutely could not, though. I mean, Randy Orton, I think, factored in with his entrance time. That was about a 40 minutes.
What the heck was that about? Was it like some match went short? Listen, just take your time getting there. Because at one point he did stop. I'm like, he's really hamming out for Tegan. Like, he must have heard it. Like, there's a blonde Canadian somewhere that's lusting after me, man. Like, I have to stop for 1 second.
I thought they were looping that song twice. Anyway, that's all we've got time for on this show. Thank you all so much. Please do press the subscribe button and give us a little thumbs up as well. Leave a comment down below with what you thought of this. I don't know who else is live at the moment. If Fightful still doing their show, let me have a check.
Yeah, it's Fightful still doing this show. But just let you know, I'm your champion right here, and I welcome all challengers. I don't like how Ollie's made me seem like I'm some sort of scared champion or paper champion. I'm here to defend against all comers, and if I did, I still would have won, because I didn't get none of my predictions wrong, because I am the scholar, Sat E. Nyangi, Big Daddy School.
Well, find another live stream that's reviewing this show and tell them that we sent you there as well. So go raid that channel. Yeah. We'll be back here on Monday. Myself and Oliver Davis will be reviewing AEW Double or Nothing 2024. And head on over to the WrestleTalk channel, because in about 4 hours time, we're going to have our full edited review. Ollie Davis will be getting his thoughts on this show as well. But until then, I've been Luco and D. Actually, do you know what? Let me plug next week. Huge stuff going on next week. So we've got our Double or Nothing review on Monday. Nice. We've got the Raw review on Tuesday. We have got the Dynamite review on Thursday. And then on Friday, it is the 10-hour 85K subscriber stream. We're going to be randomizing Money in the Bank ladder matches for 10 whole hours here on the WrestleTalk Podcast channel. So that is next Friday, which is the 31st. So mark that down in your calendars. Subscribe, enable notifications, because I'll be putting the stream up very, very soon for you to bookmark that, notify it so you can know when we're going live. But next Friday is when we're doing our big 10 hours of Money in the Bank matches. We really do hope you can join us for it, because I think we're going to have a hell of a fun time.
Wow.
Yes.
You guys are machines. Please donate water. Hydration is key.
Because I'm on all 10 hours as well. So
alternate. Well, actually, no.
We've got. I'm going to have alternating co-hosts along with me. Dan's coming in for a bit. Ollie will be coming in for a bit. Pete and Tempest are going to be doing the brunt of it with me. But I'm going to be doing all 10 hours, and I'm dead excited to do it.
You're a machine. Everyone, give it up for DAD.
It's all right. We'll do all of this next Friday, but thank you so much.
I'm doing it for now because I'm here. Like, this is the only moment I get to show my token of appreciation by sending you emojis or whatever it is to show you the appreciation. Because, my goodness, 10 hours. After 5 hours talking WrestleMania was a lot, but man, 10 hours stream, my freaking goodness.
We'll see you then. Take care, everyone. I've been Luco and DAD. That has been your Jam That Champion, Sad E. Nyangi. Jam that jam.